Good evening, everyone that's out there that's joined us tonight. Thank you very much for jumping on. Obviously, we're well and truly into the cricket season now. Plenty of you are playing a lot of cricket, and the hot days are certainly upon us. Hopefully, you only managed to play the one game on the weekend. I managed to somehow get out there and play three. So for all those that played more than one, I certainly feel your pain, and hopefully you're recovered well on this Monday. We are, as I mentioned, well and truly into the cricket season. So the point for this webinar tonight is to just delve a little bit deeper into what's upcoming for everyone out there. Obviously, you're a part of our academy process and academy systems. So that means that you're going to come across some high-level cricket, which you may already have played or you're currently playing. And as we know, cricketers at this age, December, January, and even into February now, we like to call the silly season of representative cricket, and there is a whole lot going on. So we're lucky enough tonight to be joined by the Professor, Alan Mantle. Alan's from an Advanced Mind Performance, and he's been around the cricket traps for quite a while now. You may have seen him at your Premier Club trainings. He may have bumped into you. He may even have spoken to you. And Alan's going to talk to us tonight about coping with pressure and dealing with pressure, because I can imagine that some of you out there are feeling it at the moment. The cricket season certainly puts everything into perspective at times, and sometimes it throws you a few curveballs, and especially with the upcoming representative season coming, we thought this would be a great night to get Alan on board. And Alan, we thank you very much, mate, for joining us tonight, and I'm really looking forward to hearing from you and what you have to say. Just before I pass over to you, mate, just a reminder to those that are out there, we have the little question and answer box tonight, which is going live. Any questions you have, put them in there, and the only person that can see it is myself. And I won't publish it so everyone can see it. It'll just be completely anonymous, and I'll ask the question to Alan. But other than that, enjoy it. This recording will go out. I know that some of you have cricket and can't make it tonight. So again, thank you very much, Alan, and I'll pass over to you.
Thanks, Joe. Thank you. So there we go. We're going to talk about pressure and why do we feel pressure as cricketers? And I'm going to read a quote from Aaron Finch. And it simply states, there is a reason why cricketers feel pressure. It's because you're expected to do well and expected to perform. The reason for this is because you have had success in the past and you're a good player. So be excited by the challenge and not fazed. So let's break that down a little bit to lead into why do we feel pressure. There is a reason you feel pressure, and it is because you have been selected to play at a higher level, and you'll continue to be picked at higher levels and higher levels and higher levels, and therefore that pressure will be there. So I like the last little bit. So be excited by the challenge and not fazed. Cricket is a game that tests everyone that plays it, whether you're a batsman or whether you're a bowler. And in preparing to do this talk this evening, I thought I'd look up the world's greatest cricket player, Sir Donald Bradman. Now, Sir Donald Bradman played in his senior matches. He batted in 669 innings, and he was out 562 times, but he still averaged 90.27. The question is, how did he do that? How did he average 90.27 being dismissed 562 times? The dismissals to Bradman were insignificant to him, because when you read about Sir Donald Bradman, it was all about the game. And I believe what happens with younger players and guys your age in your academy programs, the pressure comes from internally. People say, oh, well, we're playing an important game. There's pressure in this game. But it's how we perceive the game and how we think about it and how we talk to ourselves, which do take us down the path of putting this pressure on ourselves. You know, oh, coaches put pressure on us. No one can put pressure on you apart from yourself. Now, how does this happen? Well, our brain's a funny thing. It's there for one purpose, and it's there to think, to analyse, think, process. Now, pressure builds up when we start making statements to ourselves about the outcome of events. We have to win this game. I have to score runs today. I have to take wickets. I can't possibly drop a catch. I don't want to look silly. All these things are coming through our mind leading up to any game of cricket. And it's more intense the higher level cricket you're playing. But all those things we discuss and talk to ourselves about in our preparation to perform are outcome driven. They're the outcome of the event. A ball hasn't been bowled and a batsman's talking about scoring runs and how many runs he's going to score. Ball hasn't been hit in the air. The guys or girls are talking about, hope I catch it, hope this doesn't happen. And it's the same with bowlers. Oh, I've got to control my line and length. They haven't even got to the ground and they're thinking about all these outcomes. So from outcomes, that leads us to unreal expectations on ourselves. Now, we must, to perform at our best, have a high expectation, but we've got to back that high expectation up with some good foundation work. An unreal expectation, and you talk to a lot of batsmen, and when you break it down, the belief that they carry into games is they shouldn't get out. Bowlers shouldn't bowl bad balls. Fielders shouldn't drop catches. But in the reality of life and playing cricket, and the more cricket you play, the more times you will be dismissed, the more times you will bowl bad balls, and the more times you will drop catches. The incident that occurs is not the issue. It's how we turn around and deal with it. So when we are preparing to play any match, any game of cricket, if we start to go down this path of talking negatively, talking about what we don't want to have happen, hope I don't sneak out, hope I don't bowl poorly, hope I don't drop catches, we've got to correct it. We've got to say, well, hang on, that type of talk is about outcome and it's a negative thought. So what I'd like you to all start to think about is, okay, what are some simple processes I can follow that is going to give me an opportunity to perform at my best? Because again, ladies and gentlemen, we can't do any more than our best. But if we're self-sabotaging ourselves by allowing this anxiety and these nerves to build up to the extent where you're actually not breathing properly, you're not seeing the ball because you're not allowing the oxygen to get to your brain quickly enough, all these physical things are now happening because we've had this process in our thinking that's now driven our physical anxiety, we're not going to perform at our very best. So very, very simply, when we're planning to play a game, we want to talk about what we want to have happen. I want to bat well. How am I going to bat well? Well, I'm going to stay calm at the crease by following a very, very simple breathing exercise. And you can talk to your coaches about this, about how should I be breathing at the crease. It's got to be deep. It's got to be, you've got to be connecting with how do I feel when I take that deep breath? Do I feel it in my nose? Do I feel it in my throat? Do I feel it in my chest? Wherever I'm feeling it, when I'm practicing this breathing is how I want to feel it when I'm out in the middle. So that's the first process I'm going to do. Batting, bowling, fielding, make sure that I'm breathing to keep my adrenaline level under control. Now I'm going to talk about what I want to do. If you're a batsman, let's simplify it. Instead of saying I want to score 100 runs here today, what's going to give me an opportunity to score those 100 runs? Well, Alan's spoken about breathing. I'm going to watch the ball. I'm going to stay in the present moment. I'm not going to allow myself to take myself 30 overs into the game when I'm batting in the first over. I'm not going to also allow myself to go back to the past and think about last time I played in this particular against this particular team or on this particular field, I didn't have a happy day. Things didn't work out the way I wanted them to. So it's very simple. We must always stay in the present moment. We can't allow ourselves to be travelling in time. We don't want to go to the future, think about the outcome of the game. We don't want to go to the past and think about events that happened earlier. We want to stay in the present moment. So it's a matter of getting that breathing, building that breathing into a routine, a positive routine that just allows you to stay in the present moment, have part of your routine a breathing routine. So there's a lot of things we do at training, and I don't think you guys understand exactly why you're doing it. Why do we train? Well, we train to build muscle memory to allow us to perform at our best. But we've also got to introduce some thought processes into our training that allow us to go on to autopilot when we're playing the game, because you guys have all experienced this. You've gone to training. Let's say you train on a Tuesday and a Thursday. You're batting really well. You're bowling really well. Come Saturday, something's changed. And it's not a physical change. Nothing physically can change from Thursday to Saturday or Sunday when you play. It's a mental issue that's come up. And that mental issue is outcome instead of process. So I keep saying these words, these very important words, that we want to get a process that we can follow to give us an opportunity to have success. And this is what I hope you take away from tonight and talk to your coaches about. What's a good process routine I can follow? But I've also sent Jay a handout which he's going to pass around to email out to everyone that's in attendance. And it's called 11 pre-game tips to trust what you've learned at practice. Because if you're not trusting what you're doing at practice, how can you implement it on the weekend or the next time you play a game, be it Green Shield through the week or a rep carnival? How can I do it? You do all this hard work. We don't want to self-sabotage by driving ourselves by the outcome. So the first one is to strive for perfection, but accept you can't be perfect in competition. So if we're trying to be perfect, if we're setting ourselves up to play the most beautiful front foot cover drive and make sure we look just like the textbook, we're setting ourselves up for added pressure, because if that isn't executed the way you've told yourself you should execute it in this unrealistic mindset, you're not going to execute it correctly. So that's something we've got to realise, that I can strive to be perfect at training, but in a game, I'm just going to go on autopilot. You've got to put the practice mindset behind you. Don't keep trying to improve your skill when you're out in the game. If you're coaching yourself about what shot you should play and how you should play it, you're not playing the shot. You're not playing the shot. So you've really got to let that training mindset go. Mistakes are only mistakes. Now, people say, yeah, but it's an important game. You know, if I get out, I've let my parents down, I've let everyone down. If your mindset drives you that way to feel guilt and feel a bit ashamed of what's happened on the field, you're not going to learn the lesson from what's happened on the field. It's very important to grow as a cricketer and as a person. I've got to be giving myself feedback. Some simple questions. How did things work out this way? What do I need to adjust for success? What do I do, and who do I get to help me? That's very simple. How did things work out this way? Oh, I just allowed my emotions to overcome me today, and I was driven to the outcome of this game. Okay, so that's how I didn't get what I wanted today. So what do I need to adjust? I need to go back to what Alan was talking about in that webinar about going back to the process. What's 3 simple processes I can follow? Fill my thinking with that. That's going to give me an opportunity. What do? I make a decision that that's the cricketer I want to be, process driven, not outcome driven. And who am I going to get to help me? Well, I'll talk to my coaches in the academy program, talk to my grade club coaches, whoever, or I'll contact Alan. I'll see Alan next time he's at our club training, which I'm sure we've walked past each other, and have a chat about it. So keep unreal expectations in check. Now, I mentioned that before. We've got to make sure that we're not driving ourselves with unreal expectations. You know, years ago, I did some stuff with I think it might have been the under-13s academy. And I asked the question, who's afraid of getting out? And every player in the academy program that day put their hand up. And I said to them, well, I think you better pack up your bags and head off home, because you're playing the wrong game. You're 13. You're going to be playing until you're 35 at a fairly high level right through. You're going to get out. We've got to understand that getting out is not the issue. It's how I respond to it. So, again, focus on your process goals. Another one of these points. Number 7, it says strive for success, not avoid failure and mistakes. And that just recaps what I spoke about before. Too many players preparing for a game are talking about everything they don't want to have happen. Don't want to sneak out. I don't want to bowl down leg side. I don't want to drop a catch. You've only got to repeat that half a dozen times, and that becomes the reality that you're leading yourself to, because your brain's getting confused. You're sending it messages of what you don't want it to do. So as soon as you hear yourself thinking in the negative, it's a matter of taking a deep breath, having an argument with yourself if you have to. Is this statement I've just made about my performance today going to help me be a better player, or is it going to hinder me? If it's hindering you, you've then got to replace it with what you want to do, with what outcome I want to have, and now what process I want to do. You know, a batsman said to me one day, oh, I want to score 100. What's wrong with saying I want to score 100? There's nothing wrong with saying that if it doesn't put pressure on you. And if you make that statement, don't just leave it as those few words. I want to make 100. I want to make 100, and this is how I'm going to go about it. I'm going to follow this process. So again, guys, I just keep using this word, and process gives me an opportunity for an outcome. So if we eliminate the thinking part of the anxiety, which starts in our brain, everything starts with a thought. And as I said before, it translates to a physical feeling of anxiety. Our palms get sweaty, our throat gets dry, we're not breathing properly, we can feel it, we can feel the tension in our body. That's fantastic, because what that straight away told you is I'm having an anxiety response to a situation. So very simply, if your hands and palms are sweaty, we dry them. Carry a towel, dry them. There's no problem. If your throat's dry, you have a drink of water. Monitor your breathing, monitor your body tension. A lot of times this creeps up on us and we don't know that we're losing our breathing. We don't know we're carrying tension. So as a batsman, you've got a cricket bat in your hand. Squeeze the handle, let it go. Get an understanding of what's tension and what's a good, comfortable grip on my bat. Same with bowlers. That's tension when you're holding the ball tight in your hand. Now let it go. Feel relaxed. Okay, what's the ideal tension I want to hold? And same with fielding. You can tense your body and then let it go. Tense it, let it go. So you're understanding straight away, that's what tension feels like. Tension's not good for me. I'd rather be in a more relaxed state. And that doesn't mean falling asleep or not caring. It just means I've now taken control over my body. I've taken control over my thinking, and now I've taken control over my body. So, Jay, is there any questions? I know we've gone fairly quickly. Is there any questions that the guys would like to ask at this stage?
Yeah, I've had one so far, Al. See those that are out there, please just put your questions in the chat here. As I've mentioned in the little Q&A, nothing will happen how that shows up. That's just showing everyone that the Q&A is still there. So the question that has come in.
I've just got to check my battery. The computer is kicked out of the power. Hang on.
Okay. See you, Al. It's just me for now, guys.
Hang on.
This is a new one on our webinars, Al, I must say.
Well, preparation's everything. I got my process wrong. I had the printer plugged into the power, not my computer. So sorry, guys.
Not a problem.
Hey,
mate, one question that's come through.
Yes.
And the question is, so is there a way, you mentioned about trying to tell yourself not to think and put pressure on yourself. So the question is there a way you can stop thinking about other things when on the field? Whilst I'm batting, I find it hard to concentrate.
Okay. As I said earlier, and that's a fantastic question, thank you for asking it. The brain has one purpose, and it's to think. But what we've got to do is we've got to take control over that brain and get it to think the way we want it to think. So again, let's say you're batting. Let's say you're 20 something, and you play a shot, you walk away. That's the opportunity to take this breath, to feel the breath, and as you're walking back, take guard again, to tell yourself, watch the ball, be confident, you're powerful, you've done all the training, give yourself some positive affirmations. You don't have to say all of those, of course. Find something that works for you that's going to keep you in the present moment. And it might be, watch the ball, stay present. Straight away, you've flooded your brain with a positive thought of what you want to do, because the brain will take you down that spiral of negative thinking, because it's so easy to think negatively.
Al, just on the back of that, I know personally, obviously I've done a little bit of work with you in the past, and the thing that gets me, I guess, switching off and switching on, we've talked about that in the past. I try and get a song in my head when I bat, just to get me away from what's happening. Can you just elaborate a little bit more about that switching on, switching off?
So the term I'd rather use is turning down, turning up. Because when you switch something off, you've got to get it restarted. So let's turn it down. So everyone, if you imagine, we've got a dimmer switch on the side of our head. So when you're at the crease batting, you want to have that dimmer switch turned up to 100% when you're watching the ball. Now, you've played your shot, you've taken your runs, or you've let it go, or you've defended it. You're going to walk off the crease, off the pitch. Now, and I say to people, why do you do it? Oh, well, I do it to chill out. That's fantastic, but how are you chilling out? A song's a great idea. Looking around the ground to disassociate with what's happened at the trees, at the signage, the gaps in the field is also fantastic. But now it's time to turn back up. So what we've got to do is we've got to make sure before we turn to walk back onto the pitch, we take that beautiful breath. And as I said earlier, do I feel it in my nose, my throat, my chest? Wherever I feel it when I'm practicing this breathing at home, because we've got to practice this breathing. You can't just say, oh, well, Saturday I'm under pressure, I'll try to breathe now. It's too late. You've got to practice it like you'd practice a cover drive. Once you feel the breath, you're right to come back with a few simple clue words of watch the ball, stay in the present, watch the ball, move my feet, stay in the present, head to ball, all these different things that batsmen use to get themselves, their focus coming back up. So then it's just a matter of tapping the bat, listening to the rhythm of that and allowing yourself to play a shot. And bowlers can do the same, fielders can do the same. It's when we're thinking, we're in the middle, we're tapping our bat, thinking about what the batsman's going to do, that's when the anxiety is going to start coming up. But guys, this is something we've got to train. It's not something that, oh, I'll try that this Saturday. From now, we've got to start working on these routines. And I find the best place to do it is at home, in front of the mirror, do a bit of shadow batting, focusing on your breathing. Oh, I feel so good. I feel in so much control. Well, if you feel it at home in front of the mirror, it won't be long till you'll feel that out in the middle.
No, exactly right, mate. You've just sparked something there, because we've had a couple come through straight off the bat. So there's a couple of questions here around injuries. So I'll kind of blend the two together if you don't mind. So one just says, I currently have an injury and I'm worried that I'm not going to make the team next year because my stats aren't progressing and I can't play. How can I prevent putting pressure on myself to achieve what I want to achieve when I'm back on the field? And the other question is similar to that. It says, if an injury stops me from playing and training for a period, how do I stay in a positive frame of mind? And how do I get my head back in the game?
Okay. So the first thing is an injury's happened, which we had no control over. So straight away, I've got to say, did I have control over preventing this injury? Not really. No, I didn't. Now, am I doing everything within my power to get myself back on the paddock? Am I listening to the doctor's instructions? Am I following the physiotherapy? Am I doing all the things that are going to give me an opportunity? Yes. Now we talk about skill. Skill is not like your car keys. or your mobile phone. You don't lose it. You lose your phone, yes, but you don't lose skill. What we do, we mask our skill and the ability to play at our best by those type of comments. Oh, will I be good enough? Can I do this? Can I do that? So to keep yourself motivated, I would suggest you embrace the game. So you still get to the game and watch your teammates, your colleagues playing, and you use a bit of mental rehearsal, which is something that I've spoken a lot about when we do the level 2s, but just set yourself up, close your eyes, do some deep breathing, close your eyes, and spend 5 minutes seeing yourself executing your skill. If you're a bowler, putting the ball exactly where you want it to be. If you're a batsman, where you're hitting. And most people these days are batters and bowlers. So just refine your skills, but see it in your little motion picture in your mind, and that's going to keep you motivated. Well, it'll help keep you motivated in the outcome. In the outcome. Now, a lot of guys say to me, guys and girls say, well, I want to play for New South Wales, and they're 14. Now, let's go back a little bit. Let's say a Green Shield player wants to play for New South Wales. Now, he's 16 years of age. I asked the question, what's going to give you the best opportunity to play first-class cricket for New South Wales? And they throw out all these answers, you lovely young people. Oh, I've got to do this and I've got to do that. And I said, okay, in Green Shield, you set an Australian, New South Wales record. You scored double the runs that anyone scored at 16. Is that going to give you an opportunity to play for New South Wales? They think about it and they say, no, it won't. Okay, so what will? Continuing playing the game. That's what's going to give you the opportunity. If you're 16 and setting all these great records and statistics everyone looks at statistics, oh, I've got all these statistics, but unless you continue playing, you're never going to fulfill your ultimate goal of playing for New South Wales. And you're not going to stay playing from 16 to say 20 when you might be on the radar with New South Wales for those 4 years unless you're enjoying it and taking the pressure off yourself.
Yep, couldn't agree more there, Alan. And if I'm an example of anything, I didn't make my debut until I was 25. So that's what, 10 years past the Green Shield age group. So there's so much time. And as you say, I enjoyed my cricket, and that's all I wanted to do was play it for enjoyment. And I was lucky enough that things came from that. Yeah. So there's another question here, mate. It just says, well, firstly it says, thanks, Alan, which is great. How valuable is body language in remaining positive?
Very much so. Great. These guys are asking me some great questions. Let's just do a little experiment. I'm going to, like before, when I ducked down to plug in my computer, I was gone. What body language am I showing? If I spoke to the group from under the table, everyone would say, well, this Alan's he's not real. He's not presenting anything positive to us. But if I sit up tall, sit up straight, shoulders back, one thing, I'm getting oxygen into my body. I'm not crouched over, suffocating myself. So body language is really, really important because we all start games, and this is what I call the reservoir of belief. So everyone knows what a water reservoir is. It's a big tub that holds the water. Both players start the game with their reservoir full, 100% full of confidence. Now, one player drops a catch. Now, if he demonstrates poor body language, kicks the ground, head down, despondent, his reservoir will reduce. So his confidence has gone down. But the funny thing is that confidence just doesn't run out on the ground. It goes straight to the opposition team, the opposition player. So now his confidence has gone to 110%. He's filled his reservoir. He's overflowing with confidence because you've given away your control of your emotions and your physical stature. So very important. Shoulders back, head up. Drop the catch. I'll make sure the next one, I'm going to catch it.
It happens.
Please.
As you say, there's plenty of opportunities out there, isn't it? If you fear of getting out, you wouldn't play cricket ever again.
Yeah.
Couple more questions, mate. I'm not sure if this is joined, but it's a very good question if it is. Someone's just put, as a very superstitious batsman, if I have a couple of bad days, how do I keep that positive mindset?
Okay, so you've had a couple of bad games. Go back to when you were playing well. It's very interesting that people want to talk about what they're not succeeding with, and I don't know whether this is an Australian tall poppy syndrome or what, but we focus on the negative. Like, there was a young player played out at Campbelltown, and I can't remember his name, but we talked about routines and we talked about things, and he asked that exact question. He said, the last game I got a duck, the game before I got 10, the game before I only got 12. I said, okay, what about the game before? Oh, I got 110, I got 80, I got 60. I said, okay, why are you focusing on what's happened here, not focusing on that, to keep ourselves motivated? But it's very important to go back to these three, let's say 3 dismissals that you weren't happy with. And this is where the feedback's so important. What am I not doing to give myself an opportunity to play at my best? Oh, game 1, I was really nervous. Game 2, I had a very bad head cold. And game 3, because I'd missed game 2, I was even more nervous. So straight away, we can pinpoint why we're not getting the success we want, and we can work on it. Instead of just saying, oh, the statement I dislike hearing is, I just can't play anymore. Well, guys, you're good enough to be in programs that are helping you develop as cricketers. No one gets picked because they can't play. You guys can play. You've just got to trust your ability.
Yep, 100% agree, mate. Look, there hasn't been many more questions come in, but I think you've answered some wonderful answers there and some wonderful questions from you guys, as Alan's mentioned a few times. Look, guys, it's gone past 7, which is great. We allowed a half an hour thing here, but also more than happy to continue a little bit longer with the wealth of knowledge that Alan's provided for us. So, Alan, thank you very much. It's very much appreciated what you do for Cricket New South Wales and also what you've done for us tonight.
It's a credit to you guys and as I go around the grade clubs, New South Wales Premier clubs, that the players that are really coming out and embracing this. 5 or 6 years ago, 10 years ago, no, I'm all right. I don't want to talk to anyone. Just let me hit 500 cricket balls a week, or let me bowl X amount, and I'll be right. But we've proved this fact that every player I talk to can play a cover drive. They can play a pull shot. And I'm sorry I keep referring to batsmen, but it's just easier this way for me. Pull shot, cover drive, square cut, leg glance, on drive, off drive. They can play all the shots. And when you sit down with them and say, well, what's the issue? Oh, in between balls, I get nervous. Okay, that's fantastic. At least you've pinpointed what the situation is. So let's work on that. Let's work on a way of controlling the nerves. And in half an hour, the best I can say is make sure we're not holding tension in our body. Well, first of all, make sure we're not thinking what we don't want to think. Make sure we're not holding tension. Make sure we're breathing. So,
thank you very much, Alan, and do appreciate those comments. And obviously, if there's anyone out there that didn't want to ask a question tonight or does have a question or something that they would like to know, more than happy for you to get in touch with myself. Obviously, my email goes out to everyone when I send out the recording and when I send out the link. If you would like to get in touch with Alan on a different level, again, come through myself and I can have that conversation with Alan. But again, mate, thank you very much for tonight. Thank you to everyone that's out there that's listened in. I know there's a lot of people already requesting the recording, mate, because they couldn't actually get on tonight. So your work is very much valued and very much appreciated. So thank you again, mate, and everyone that's out there, best of luck. If I don't see you over the next couple of months, it's most certainly going to be a hectic couple of months. It's a silly season of cricket, the silly season of festivities as well. So I do wish everyone a very Merry Christmas out there if I don't see you, and enjoy your cricket. As Alan said, enjoy it. That's why we play it. Go out there and have fun. You're in these teams for a reason. So just remember that when you're playing. So all the best and good luck, and thank you very much for tonight.
Thanks, Jay.
See you guys.
See you, mate.